Hello, ramaramapoopodu. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, relaxed, and peaceful, and happy always. Now let's continue with chapter 19, part 4, Cause of Toothache. By the night train, Balak Ram and Ramdas started from Banda and reached Mahoba early the next morning. In the bazaar, they were greeted by Balak Ram's old friends. One of these two, Bahadur and Jagannath, were the most assiduous in their attention. In the evening, they proceeded to the Gohkar Parvat. When leaving the town, Balak Ram divested himself of the long gown and presented it to a friend in the bazaar. Similarly, the umbrella and the shoes were also given away. He remained on bare cowpin. The Gohkar Parvat was made up of a series of mountains, some low and others high. The mountains were formed of huge black boulders piled up together. Here, tall trees were sparse, but the hills were covered over with a thick growth of shrubs and grass. At a lower level, around the extensive area of the hills were small lakes, bearing on their placid bosom red and white lotuses. As they climbed the hills, they reached a central piece of level ground enclosed all round by lofty hills. Right in the middle of this level ground was a heap of giant rocks, about 100 feet high. At the base of this pile was a cave like a cubicle room. Now, a difficult ascent a few yards upward revealed another spacious but very low compartment between two broad and flat rocks. In this compartment was another recess which could just accommodate one person. The compartment and the recess were so low that one could move in it only on one's haunches. This rocky upper chamber was occupied for the night. Balak Ram's temper was as bad as ever. At the least provocation, he railed violently at the visitors. When alone with him, Ramdas again talked to him of peace. In response, he resolved that he would, from the ensuing day, observe perfect silence, live on mere milk diet, and not quit the chamber for 7 days. He also desired to remain quiet, solitary, and to allow no visitors to come up except Ramdas. The latter undertook to carry for him from below milk, water, etc. He also appealed to Balak Ram to go on with the repetition of Ram Nam. Next day, Ramdas took his position under a slanting rock at the base of the hill. The visitors commenced to pour in. They demanded to see Balak Ram. He explained to them the situation as it stood. They were much disappointed and grumbled. He discharged the duty imposed on him, that is, on the one hand of persuading the visitors not to climb up the hill to see Balak Ram, and on the other of carrying food and water to him in his solitary cell. One thing has to be noted, that this part of the hill was bereft of water supply. There was neither a spring nor a well. Water had to be brought from a well nearly 2 miles from the cave. The kind friends Bahadur and Jagannath arranged for the supply. One night, Ramdas discovered Balak Ram lying down on a flat rock at the top of the cave, moaning and crying with pain. "What is the matter with you, Ram?" Ramdas asked, approaching him. "Maharaj, I have a severe attack of toothache. I cannot bear the excruciating pain," he sobbed out. Ramdas passed his hand over him soothingly. When he added, "Do you know why I suffer like this? I shall tell you. I can well understand that it is all due to the curses of my wife and children, whom I have deserted." "Lord," Ramdas exclaimed, "if that be the case, why not return to them?" "Impossible," he jerked out. "I have absolutely severed myself from them, leaving no hope of return." "There is no such thing, Ram. You may yet go back to them if only you make up your mind," Ramdas assured him. but Balak was firm in his convictions. Soon after this, he fell asleep, and the following day he was free from pain. Day after day passed. The visitors from the city, who came in large numbers, clamored for Balak's darshan. They, in a way, accused Ramdas of being at the bottom of the affair, but he took their remarks in good part. Balak, on the other side, was also growing impatient. He struggled with his mind, which raised a revolt against the restrictions imposed on it. On the fifth day, a large crowd of devotees at the foot of the hill raised a hue and cry, and the noise reached the ears of Balak in his seclusion. Out he came, like a prisoner set free, and jumping from stone to stone, was in a minute in the midst of the crowd. He received from the mass a loud ovation. For a few minutes he was mild, cheerful, and smiling. The passion that lay dormant for 5 days once more raised its hood. Now its venom flowed with unabated fury in a torrent of abuse on all the people assembled there. At this, the crowd was slowly melted away and dispersed. The majority skulked away to their homes. A few remained who tolerated and loved him, in spite of his violent nature. Many of his admirers knew that his outbursts were not to be taken seriously, and his heart was tender, compassionate, and loving. Ramdas once observed him fondling a baby. He was simply lost in raptures when he was in its society. He was an avowed enemy of falsehood, deceit, and greed. Towards these, his attitude was most violent and uncompromising. On the evening of the day when Balak became free from the restrictions of his vow, Ramdas expressed his wish to leave Mahoba that night for Jhansi. Balak remonstrated, wept, caught Ramdas' feet, appealed, and did his best to detain him for a longer period. But Ramdas was so firm in his resolution that Balak could not move him this time. Accordingly, he started by the night train from Mahoba and reached Jhansi the next morning. That's all, folks. Let's see in the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Ramaramapoopodu.